Aw, Freddie is such a sweet guy and a wonderful spokespet. Now, the house cat you're about to meet is tall, that's for sure. But he's also gentle, kind, and uses his unique physique to help raise money for charitable organizations. Who holds the record for oldest living cat? Well, that's Flossie from across the pond in London. What about longest whiskers? Missy, a Maine Coon from Finland. Most dice ever stacked on a cat's paw? 10, achieved by Bibi in Malaysia. Now, how about the tallest living cat in the whole wide world? It's Fenrir from Farmington Hills, Michigan, USA.
He is a big, friendly doofus. He's kind of silly. I don't know how to explain it in the way that he's almost like a dog. He gets the zoomies. He plays fetch. He loves to be chased.
Fenrir belongs to Dr. Will Powers, a self-described cat guy and physician for humans who often brings his beloved pets to the office.
Typically, there's just one that comes per day, but today I brought them all. We've got Polaris over there, we've got Hyperion over here, and we've got the big boy. This is Fenrir. Fenrir is my Savannah cat, and hi, good boy. Can you give me a kiss? Good boy, gives me kisses. Savannah cats are a domestic cat that is a hybrid between an African serval and a domestic. He has one grandparent that's a serval, and so he's effectively 25% serval. But at that point, the International Cat Association recognizes the breed as a domestic cat.
Fenrir and his Bengal brothers don't trigger allergies, which makes them perfect therapy cats for the practice.
Fen typically comes the most. He really loves coming. Polaris and Hyperion, they don't like the car ride as much. And so I'll bring them if they're eager to go. I basically in the morning say, "Who wants to go to work?" And usually Fen will run to the door because he knows he gets fed here. When I have to give a patient bad news, nothing makes bad news go down easier than having a giant cat next to you to pet while I tell it. And I'm a family physician, but I'm also a boarded HIV specialist. And so I treat patients with HIV and AIDS. And sometimes I have to give people really bad news, which is tough. And literally, I will make sure he is with me when I go in the room to do that.
Fenrir is a special guy, but he's not Dr. Powers' first record-setting pet.
Back in the day, I was president of the Ferndale Cat Shelter. And I had some rescue cats, a Maine Coon that was a rescue, and I got a rescue Bengal. And I thought it might be kind of fun if I ended up getting a Savannah cat because we could use him for, like promotions and stuff for the Ferndale Cat Shelter. What I didn't expect was that he would be the biggest Savannah cat to ever live. Now, that was Arcturus all the way back in 2017. My first cat that had a Guinness World Record was Cygnus. He's the one that has the record for the longest tail ever on a cat. He's, again, also on the wall. Cygnus, his tail was so long that I thought there might be something medically wrong with him. So I posted him on Ask a Vet on Reddit and said, "Hey, any vets here, have you ever seen a cat with a tail this long? Is there some, bone or other collagen anomaly I need to be worried about?" And the vets were like, "Nope, that's wild though," but Guinness saw the photograph. And so they said, "Hey, can you measure that tail? Because we're pretty sure that would break the all-time record by a large margin." And he did. He broke it by almost 2 inches. And that was when he was like 9 months old. So they came to the house, they flew a whole film crew out from the UK. And while the film crew was at the house, they saw his brother, Arcturus. They're like, "Wow, that's a really tall cat. Have you measured him?" They did while they were there, and Arc had broken the all-time record as well. So at that time, I had the tallest cat in the world and the longest tail cat in the world.
Unfortunately, tragedy struck soon thereafter.
Shortly after Arcturus got his world record, we had a house fire, and I was nearly killed in the fire, and I lost all my cats, which sucked. I then went through some rough years after that. A few years after the fire, the mother and father of Arcturus had a set of kittens, and I couldn't resist. I adopted them too, and so I fed them the same special diet that I designed for these guys. They get all the vitamins and minerals and everything else they can possibly do to make them as healthy as possible. And Fen actually broke the record when he was only 1 year old. You are looking at the Guinness World Record cat. He is a big boy. Would you like to take a treat? Very nice. Would you like to be a good boy and take the treat? Yeah. You can see his teeth and his paw size. So I'm a 6'3", 200-pound man, and that's the size of his paw. He could easily cover a 50-cent piece with his paw. Show him how big your paw is. Show him how big. Like, that's my thumb compared to it. He's an absolute monster of an animal. How about your claws? Can I see your claws? So he does have claws. I've never declawed any of my cats, and they are enormous. They are probably double the size of a normal cat's claws. He eats an enormous amount of food per day. He eats about 450 to 500 calories a day. Most of the food that I have is raw. It's usually ground whole prey. And then I have some adjuvants that I put in it. And so when I originally had Arcturus and I devised the diet for him, what I put together was basically all of the essential amino acids for cats in their raw chemical form, like in their powder of L-tyrosine. And then I took some of that with some porcine bone meal for bone health and growth, long-chain fatty acids, and then a cat multivitamin and some other stuff. And I made this powder. And then that powder gets mixed into mostly raw meat, but occasionally they get some regular cat food just for treats, because they will always prefer to eat the Captain Crunch kind of form of cat food as opposed to the raw meat, but mostly they live on raw meat.
Fenrir is 38 pounds and about 20 inches tall at the shoulder, which is considered a cat's height. This buff boy is available for personal appearances if it's for a good cause.
Basically any charity thing in Michigan for animals or anything that would be appropriate for him, I take him no cost, happy to bring him to stuff and help him raise funds for whatever charity it is we can help him raise funds for. So if you're seeing this, please ask me. I love to do work with my boy. He's super duper good, he's super friendly. Stand up, big chunks. Come here, give me a kiss. Give me kisses. Good boy, give me kisses again. One more. Yeah.
If you'd like to ask Fenrir to attend your charitable event, or you just want to follow him on social media, we have the links to find them at clickondetroit.com. We'll be right back.